that are on here, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and they want me to write the equation. So in each one of these, I know I'm going to start out with that slope-intercept equation, and that's what I'm going to have to be able to fill in. Now, there's kind of a couple pieces here. First of all, I can tell right here where this hits on the y-axis. So let's see, -1, -2, -3. So that means B is going to be -3 because it's -3. Okay, now I'm going to have to make that triangle and do rise over run. So if I look at this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my run is 4. And it's 1 for my rise. So if I do rise over run, it's going to be 1 over 4. Now that's going to be your M. So 1 over 4, and then the X goes with it, and I put the Y equals in front of it. Okay, now if I go to 10, I'm going to start out the same way. I know I've got to fill in this equation. I can tell right here where it hits the y-axis, that's at +1, so it's going to be +1. Remember, if it's +1, it's +1. If it's -1, I'm going to write -1. Now, I'm going to take 2 points. I don't care which of the two that I choose. They just have to be ones that come out exactly on the line. And on this one, I'm going to have a run. That's 1. 1, 2, 3. And I have a rise that's 3. So if I do rise over run, it's going to be 3 over 1, which is 3. That goes in for this M. So put the X with that, and the Y equals on the other side. Okay, let's keep going. So here's the equation I've got to start with. Right there, I can tell that that hits at 0. So my B value is going to be 0. If I go to do my M, remember this slope is going downhill, so I know that rise side is going to be negative. So it's going to be going down 1 for my rise. My run is 2. So it's going to be -1 over 2 for M. Put my X there and my Y in front. Now if it's a 0 on the end, you can drop that part and just write it like this. Okay, next one. Now, if I were looking at this problem, kind of a couple things. I can tell right here that's my B value. So 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So I know that's going to be +4. I know this slope is going to be negative when I get done because it's downhill. Make a triangle between any 2 points, doesn't matter which one. So my rise is going to be -1, and my run is going to be +1. So -1 over 1 for my rise is going to be -1. So it's going to be -1x. Now, a lot of times people will drop this 1 because we assume it's there whether we write it or not. So this will be the way that you see it written. Okay, last piece that we have is to take an equation and to be able to graph it. Now, the big thing for us is that all of these are kind of written in standard form, but to be able to graph, I've got to be able to get it in that form. So I'm basically going to have to solve for y. So on this problem right here, I'm going to have to get rid of that 5x. So it's +5x, so I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. So y equals -5x minus 1. Now if I look at that problem, that means my M value is -5, my B value is -1. Now with that slope, it really helps us to have a fraction, so I get that rise over run. So I'm going to put this over 1, and that part's going to be my rise, and that part's going to be your run. When I start graphing, I'm going to start with this. So I start at +1. If my slope is negative 5 over 1, from this point that I have right here, I'm going to go down 5 and over 1. Okay, once I get that, I could go ahead and make my line through it. Okay, let's keep going on 14. Same thing, I've got to get it in this form. So I'm going to subtract 2x. So I have 3y equals negative 2x plus 12. And then divide by 3. So those cancel. I'm left with y. Negative 2/3 x. And then 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4. So that means that my m value is negative 2 over 3. It's my rise and run. And my b value is 4. So I start with this. So positive 4 on my y-axis.